The Tesla Cybertruck was never built for our world. It was built for the one that comes next. Imagine the sky turning white, a silent, impossible flash, then a roar that rips the world apart. Cities become dust, and in the twilight of the aftermath, only one shape remains, a wedge of stainless steel, unbent, unbroken. You see, its impenetrable exoskeleton, its armor glass, that wasn't marketing, it was a promise of survival against the single most destructive force humanity has ever created. But is the promise real? Can Elon Musk's angular beast actually survive a nuclear apocalypse? Today, we push past the hype to uncover the truth. The answer will shock you. If you're ready for the deep dive, prove it. Hit that like button and subscribe to Dravexa right now. You're not going to want to miss this. To survive, the Cybertruck can't just face one threat. It has to face the four horsemen of the nuclear apocalypse. First, the blast wave, a supersonic wall of force that flattens buildings and tosses cars like toys. Then, the thermal pulse, an impossible flash of heat that can vaporize metal in a millisecond. Next, the silent killer, the EMP, an electromagnetic pulse that fries every circuit, every screen, every piece of modern tech instantly. And finally, the aftermath, the invisible poison of radioactive fallout that blankets the Earth for years. To survive, the Cybertruck can't just face one threat. It has to face the four horsemen of the nuclear apocalypse. So, how does the Cybertruck face the fire and the fury? It all starts with the armor. You're looking at an exoskeleton crafted from ultra-hard 30x cold-rolled stainless steel. It sounds impressive. On paper, it's formidable. But let's put it to the test. First, the blast wave. Think about a normal car. Thin sheet metal, designed to crumple. Against a nuclear blast, it's paper in a hurricane. Just 5 pounds per square inch of pressure, not even enough to destroy a concrete building, will crush it flat, bent, broken, and blown away. But the Cybertruck, it changes the equation. Its unibody exoskeleton isn't designed to crumple. It's designed to endure. The thick, rigid steel panels spread the force across the entire structure. You've seen the videos online. Sledgehammers bounce right off. Some bullets can't even punch through. But here's the twist. That incredible rigidity becomes a double-edged sword. While it won't crumple, those huge flat sides create a perfect sail to catch the wind. So the critical question isn't whether the body will buckle, it's whether the entire 6,800-pound truck will be picked up and thrown like a stone. Get too close, and nothing survives. But in the fringe zones, the Cybertruck's advantage is undeniable. Where other vehicles are unrecognizable scrap, it would likely remain whole. Its skin, designed to stop bullets, would shrug off flying shrapnel that would shred a normal car door. The engineering here is incredible, and if you agree, show your support by hitting that subscribe button for Dravexa. You won't regret it. Now, for the heat. The thermal pulse is a flash of pure, unimaginable energy, thousands of degrees in a fraction of a second. The paint on a normal car ignites instantly. Aluminum parts melt into puddles. But the Cybertruck's bare metal finish, it's a superpower. There's no paint to ignite. The steel itself won't melt unless you're practically at ground zero. And its bright, reflective surface actually bounces a portion of that deadly heat away. Of course, it isn't invincible. The tires, they would instantly ignite and burn away, leaving it stranded. That armor glass would be scorched, turning opaque and crazed, but it might not shatter, keeping the cabin sealed. So, the verdict on physical survival? Against the raw force of the blast and the heat, The Cybertruck is arguably the most resilient consumer vehicle ever conceived. It's not a tank, but its core design gives it a real fighting chance to stay structurally intact while everything around it turns to dust. So, the Cybertruck steel shell has survived the blast. It endured the fire. You might think the worst is over. But now comes the silent killer, the ghost in the machine. This is where the Cybertruck's futuristic design becomes its Achilles heel, because what good is a perfect steel body if it's just a 6,800-pound paperweight? We're talking about the EMP, a nuclear electromagnetic pulse. It's a death sentence for modern electronics, and you have to remember, the Cybertruck isn't just a truck, it's a sophisticated computer on wheels. An EMP is a wave of pure energy that turns every wire into an antenna, channeling a fatal surge of voltage directly into the machine's brain. And the Cybertruck is all brain. The steering? Drive-by-wire. The brakes? Electronically controlled. The motors, the battery, the giant touchscreen that controls everything. It's all one complex connected web. If the controllers fry, the truck is utterly, completely undrivable. This level of tech is exactly what we explore every week here on Dravexa. So if you're finding this fascinating, hit that like button. It tells us you want more deep dives just like this. So, does it have any defense? You might point to the steel exoskeleton and say, what about a Faraday cage, a metal box that shields electronics from an EMP? In theory, you'd be right. But a Faraday cage has to be perfect, no holes, no gaps. The Cybertruck has massive windows, vents, openings for wires and suspension. Each one is a gateway, an open door for that lethal energy to pour inside. Worse still, the wires running to the motors and charging port act like direct lines, feeding the poison straight into the heart of the vehicle. Military vehicles are hardened against this, but Tesla has never ever claimed the Cybertruck is EMP-proof. And that brings us to the verdict. This is the Cybertruck's greatest, most probable point of failure. The steel shell would likely survive, a perfect gleaming monument on a dead planet. But the soul of the machine, it would be gone in a flash. The EMP was the great filter, the silent killer. But let's imagine you got lucky. Let's imagine your Cybertruck was shielded, deep underground, and it survived. You emerge into a new world, a world saturated with an invisible poison, the lingering death of radioactive fallout. Your truck must now become more than a vehicle. It has to be a sanctuary. And this is where the Cybertruck reveals a surprising, almost purpose-built advantage. A feature hidden in plain sight. Bioweapon Defense Mode. You see, radioactive fallout isn't some spooky gas. It's dust, fine, deadly particles floating in the air you breathe. And Tesla's system uses an oversized HEPA filter, designed with medical-grade precision to capture particles a fraction of that size. It literally scrubs the poison from the air. The system also pressurizes the cabin, constantly pushing air out. The truck's sealed design means that contaminated dust can't just seep in through the cracks. Nothing gets in unless it comes through that filter first. This kind of brilliant, unexpected engineering is exactly why we created Dravexa. If you're as blown away by this feature as we are, show your support and hit that subscribe button. Join the crew. Now, what about the radiation itself? The gamma rays passing through the steel? The truck's body offers a tiny bit of shielding, sure, but let's be clear, it's not a lead-lined bunker. Its real superpower here isn't stopping the rays, it's stopping you from inhaling them. So, the verdict on surviving the fallout? In this one specific phase of the apocalypse, the Cybertruck excels. It becomes a mobile cleanroom in a toxic world. That HEPA filtration system isn't a gimmick, it's a game changer. A genuine lifesaver that allows you to breathe easy while the world outside is poison. Now for the final test. Logistics. Because a vehicle is only useful if it can move. In this new world, the grid is gone. Gas stations are monuments to a dead era. And gasoline itself? it degrades and dies within months. So how do you power an EV at the end of the world? This is the great challenge. You have a massive battery, enough to get you 340 miles away from the disaster zone. But after that, what's the plan? The solution is the one thing they can't turn off: the sun. Solar. Now, Tesla has teased a solar cover that might get you 15 miles a day, a trickle, a novelty. To really power this beast, you'd need a serious, portable solar array. And you'd need patience. You're looking at 10 to 12 days of perfect sunshine for a full charge, a long time to stay exposed. But here's the key: it's possible. Gasoline is finite. It rots. Solar is limitless. It means you could have a vehicle that can, in theory, run forever. And think about the other tools you have. 16 inches of ground clearance to crawl over the rubble of civilization, a massive vault, and the power to tow 11,000 pounds of salvage and supplies. Onboard outlets that turn your truck into a mobile power station for your new life. The verdict on practicality? The recharging is a challenge, no question, but the ability to refuel from the sun gives the Cybertruck a long-term life that no gas guzzler can ever match. It is the ultimate platform for rebuilding. So we come to it, the final verdict. Can the Tesla Cybertruck survive a nuclear apocalypse? The answer is a frustratingly complex yes and an almost certain no. It's a complete paradox, a machine of extreme resilience and profound vulnerability. Its strengths are undeniable. The steel exoskeleton offers physical protection you can't get anywhere else. The Bioweapon Defense Mode is a literal lifesaver against fallout. Its solar potential gives it eternal life. In these ways, it is the single best survival vehicle you could ever hope for. But its fatal flaw is the one that defines our age: the EMP. The Cybertruck is a rolling supercomputer in a world where a single, silent pulse can fry every last circuit. Against that invisible wave, its mighty steel body becomes nothing more than a tomb for a dead machine. The shell would survive, the soul would be gone. Ultimately, it's the perfect symbol of our modern world, solving old problems of force and fire with complex new technology that carries its own silent vulnerability. The Cybertruck that survives the apocalypse will be the one that got lucky, hidden deep underground. The one on the surface will likely be just another beautiful dead machine in a silent world. It is the ultimate survival vehicle right up until the moment it isn't. What do you think? Could it survive? Let us know your theory in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss our next video on Dravexa.